Hello and welcome to the show. I'm here today going to be taking a look at Assetto Corsa Competizione. It is, well, it's the new Assetto Corsa game. It's not a direct sequel as such. This is based on the Blancpain, I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't really know. Words are difficult. GT series. So it's based on an actual race series, which we haven't seen very many games outside of Formula 1. Most racing games have kind of been, let's have lots of different sorts of motorsport, like Project Cars, Automobilista, even, Assetto Corsa Original. Lots of different motorsports. So it's interesting to see one going for one specific series. Now, the plus point, you can be very, very detailed in that one specific series, which I have no doubt this will be, judging from what I have seen so far. The downside, of course, is, well, you've only got that series to play with. Variety is perhaps going to be a bit less with this. I mean, these cars, this particular race series, while I have seen a bit of it, I like GT cars. They're certainly not my go-to vehicle when it comes to racing. I much more prefer sort of your Clio Cup cars, touring cars, and even slower than that in times. The game is currently in early access, and there are only two vehicles to play with. There's the Bentley GT3, there is the Lamborghini Huracan GT3. There's a full grid of cars, but as the player you can only drive two of them. We're going to go for the Bentley. As far as the circuits go, there are currently only two of those as well. The Misano circuit, which up until playing this game I'd never really heard of and certainly never driven, and the Nürburgring, or the GP circuit, which I do know and have driven plenty. So we're going to go to Misano. Of course, yeah, there isn't a huge amount of content at the moment. That is reflected in the fact that the game is currently cheaper. If you buy it in early access, I think about £22, £23, and that will get you the full game. When it comes, I don't know if it's going to be at release day or close to release, that price is going to go up when there is more content. So if this is something that you are thinking you're going to be interested in, now is not a bad time to buy it. Now is not a bad time to buy it at all, because you'll get the whole thing for less money. Always a good thing, really. We're going to go for a quick race. We're going to go for a 15-minute race. Of course, the races on here are all done time-based rather than laps, which is a little bit strange for me, but that's how the actual series works. So, yeah, we're going to go 15 minutes. I mean, the actual series is, endurance racing, much longer races, 2 hours, 4 hours, plenty of 6-hour races and so on. So, yeah, 15 minutes, not exactly a huge distance to race these cars, but it'll give you a feel for the game. We're going to start at the back of a 21-car grid, and I'm going to try and work my way towards the front. Unlikely to see me get to the victory in this one, partly because I'm not particularly great here, partly because I'm not particularly great at this game. Also, with the way the AIs are going to stack up and act from the practice stuff that I have done, yeah, it's probably going to be difficult too, because someone's going to escape away at the front with a huge lead. So we are off and underway, and I'm already not really sure I want to try and make this 3 wide. You're going to drive into a wedge there that won't work. I'm going to vote for the don't do something stupid into the first corner and try and be sneaky and make up. Be smart through the first corner. You see, we've made up 3 places by being intelligent rather than doing a banzai dive. Although it's now going to all stack up here, isn't it? Oh, there was some shortcutting from Audis. I was trying to stay out of trouble through all of that. I've got somebody up the inside. Don't know who it is. I think they will fall back into line because they're probably not going to want to go around the outside there. They are happy to sit on the outside, the Ferrari, but it's not going to be able to do too much. Where are we going here? I really wanted to have a crack up the inside of some cars, but there's so many kind of stacking up that I didn't want to end up in the door of somebody further ahead. It's a little bit busy on this opening lap. Oh god, in this corner here's scary following cars. Good overtaking opportunity if you've got it right. We might get one of the Audis, I think, through there, which we have done indeed. I might actually out-drag the Bentley. Got the power down onto this. Still is back straight. We then got 2 very fast corners that I like but are terrifying. That's the first part. We then head up towards the second part here, which I'm going to have a little lift on while we've got cold tyres. You can see in the lower right hand side, got your little tyre temperature, tells you tyre temperature in different parts of the tyre and so on. There's plenty of information. And in terms of handling physics, if you've played Assetto Corsa, this is probably going to feel familiar. And while course, I have no idea on realism. I will probably never drive a GT3 car, have any sort of reference. It feels like a pretty damn decent simulation, and I would expect it to on here. There's like lots of little details in the sound of the cars. There's little whirs, there's little chattering from various bits and pieces. As you clobber across a curb, you'll hear all sorts of little details. I think it's Race Room, one of the best games for sort of hearing like different. I mean, admittedly there are more cars to have sort of different things going on that game, but you'll hear like diff whirring and all sorts of funky sound or interesting different sort of sounds from the cars, and it's something that you get on here. And it's that little attention to detail that is very nice. Handling physics wise, you're not going to be disappointed with driving the cars. Yes, I am driving this on a wheel, and I haven't tried it on a controller as of yet. Assetto Corsa itself was pretty good on a controller, probably one of the better sim games in terms of working on a normal controller. And I would presume this will be, you will use a similar system, although that is not something that I can confirm yet. I was not sure if I was going to be given space through there, and ended up chickening out of it and bounced across the curbs. Oh, done a big stupid there, getting on the brakes while still turning through a fast corner. Got to be a little bit more careful. Alright, out of the hairpin we go. What position are we in at the moment? We're in 13th. Oh, I should be able to get past. Like, I am quicker than this Mercedes. I'm not quite in the right place. We might be here though. Are we going to get a good run? Might be able to jink to the inside. Didn't know if we were going to move over to cover. I don't think it is. A little bit risky. I say a little risky going for the inside through here. The AI are actually quite good at running around the outside of sort of turn 1, and that puts me on the outside for turn 2, although it's going to be the inside for turn 3. I think I'm going to finally get that, unless he's still fighting it. Yep. No, I think he's now fallen back into line. I was going to do a cutback, I think. Is he underneath? No, he's not. Mercedes is not going to be there. We will take 12th place away, and we might actually take 11th as well, with a good run down towards the hairpin. I will say thank you very much for that one. And there we go. So, game stuff wise, yeah, handling physics is very good. AI, again, we've also got to bear in mind here, this is early access. I'm sure things will change as we go through. I'll kind of talk about the game as it is in its current state. The AI are not bad, but they do have their quirks, shall we say. First of all, they are good at giving you racing room, and they'll give each other racing room, although they are also very good at slowing each other down horrendously. I mean, you'll see it a little bit already in this race. You'll see how the field is spread out. Normally, what I've seen from all my previous races is there will be a car or two that are going quite slowly, and I'm talking a decent number of seconds a lap slower than. Generally the leader will bugger off at the front because they won't be fussed, or maybe the top two, I don't know how many we've got escaping in this one. They'll bugger off at the front because there's no one there, you know, slowing them down in traffic, while the rest of the field kind of gets stacked up behind each other. You can have some very good racing because they do tend to give you room. They don't run into you very often. There will still be times where mistakes will happen. Let's face it, it's racing. Mistakes do happen. Yeah, there are times where I have been bumped by them, but for the most part, yeah, they'll give you space if you're on the inside. But that does sometimes make them quite very slow and get this weird spread out race, which means like choosing a difficulty is quite difficult because your actual, you know, where you would be setting similar lap times to the AIs. When you're running in clean air and they're running in clean air, as a human player, you'll probably be better in traffic. So yeah, trying to find the right difficulty level to play on is not the, or certainly if you do something like this where you're running through the pack, you know, you want to be quick enough that you can be overtaking and making progress forward, but not have, you know, them all tripping over each other so that you can kind of get through half the field in a single corner. It's, I'm sure, something that'll be worked on. It's something that a lot of racing games in general have trouble with. If you have the AI behave to a point where they're, you know, clean racing with each other and with you and so on, they end up getting this sort of stacking up effect. And it's certainly not, you know, Assetto Corsa. It's not the worst offender for this one. There are plenty that have had trouble with all of this. It's early days yet, and I'll be interested to see what we do get in terms of AI behaviour. I mean, we have been running in clean air here and soared up to the back of the R8. The R8s do seem to be quite slow in the hands of the 8. It tends to be, if someone's leading a big train of cars, it does tend to be one of the R8s. And I don't know whether that's just, I say bad luck, whether it's just, yeah, pure, almost random luck with cars previously. But yeah, for some reason they have seemed to be the ones to stack everything up. We're going to have maybe have a big look at the inside. Oh, nope, don't do that. I completely misjudged the size of my car. That was my bad. That was very much my bad. I thought I was safe to park it there, and we were not quite. The Audi is on the inside, but it's probably going to be very, very slow off of the corner, so we will retake that position. Wasted a little bit of time, but we just got to half distance, so we can still make some more progress further forward. Actually, the 2 leaders are really far gone in this. They're absolutely miles away. We might stand a chance. We should probably be able to clear these next 2 Mercs, and then there's 1 car ahead of them. That's probably where I'm aiming for. That's probably where we're going to be aiming for in all of this. Other game mechanics to speak of that I have come across so far. Well, in the top right you'll notice a multicoloured bar of stuff happening. It's I presume, learning tool. Not so great when you're in a race trying to do consistency stuff, when, you know, you're fighting with cars, you're trying to overtake and not run into each other. But it is used to track, I presume, TR I think is track racing, CC I presume is car control, not sure what CN is. Basically it's a way of helping you to learn the circuits, learn the cars, and yeah, we've got to try and get all the bars into the green. But at the moment I'm fighting with everything, so we're slowing places or getting tangled up with Mercedes and all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to overrun that corner, I think. Is he going to crisscross? He tried it, did not quite get the car where he wanted to. We're up to 4th. There's a chance at a podium. I've also completely and utterly balls up this corner. Either way, it will give you information on what's going on and how you're driving and all of that sort of stuff. It doesn't always make sense. There are sometimes where I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. There are times when it'll tell you off and I'm not quite sure what I've done to irk it, or there are times where it feels like I've been doing something, you know, taking a corner particularly slow and it's saying things are good. I'm sure it will be worked upon and whatnot before the actual release. I mean, there's not really, whoa, that's a big curb on the inside, don't want to hit that. Currently there's no real explanation as to what it does. You just kind of have to guess and figure out roughly when things are in the green or in the happy. We're going to try and have now some clean laps. It's going to be, you're going to have a couple of laps. What is the time? I can't actually, 4. Yeah, we'll probably have 2 or 3 more laps here to running clean air, maybe set some fast lap times. I know there's way more in the car. A combination of me not being good with this sort of vehicle, not knowing the track, and new at the game is not the best for me. Don't hit those. There are the actual curbs themselves are not too bad. You'll run over them, the car will buzz across the top of them, will bounce around a little bit. They're not too bad. There's these big black and yellow curbs that sit on the outside or insides of some corners that you really don't want to hit. We hit one of them, you saw what it did. I very, very nearly rolled the Bentley on about my 5th or 6th lap, ran wide out of a corner, hit one of those, very, very nearly saw the Bentley tip over. I think rolling cars will be very much possible if that curb was anything to go by. Might take a little more encouragement than just a curb, but certainly I got bounced a long way onto my side doing that. I'm not sure about this corner. I like this turn, but I'm not very good. It's one of the corners I could appreciate, and I enjoy driving it. I'm just not very fast around it. This lap's been terrible. I think the Mercedes behind us is one of the quicker cars, and the Mercedes that he was stuck behind is one of the slower ones, because, well, we've both completely and utterly dropped one of the Mercs, and he's now, you know, fairly hounding the back of me. Let's have a good lap, shall we? Let's go and see what we can do in terms of pace. I say that. I know it's not, like, it's annoying because I know I'm not great at this game, and I think we're probably going to see, like, I've got into 37s at some point around here on a very, very good lap, but I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that one again. Other stuff that is in or coming to the game shortly, weather is going to hopefully play a big part. Dynamic weather is not an option that you can currently use. You can set it to run in the rain, varying degrees of rain. You can have varying cloud cover as well that will affect track temperature, affect, you know, your tyres and the grip levels and whatnot. But yeah, there is going to be full-on dynamic weather. There's a little bit of wet weather driving that I have done on here. It looks like rain, or looks like the weather is going to be pretty impressive. You know, Formula 1 games have done dynamic weather very well for a number of years now, and it looks like we're going to get that again here. You know, what tyres do you use? Are you going to be using slick tyres, or how long do you stay on slick tyres? Could well make for some very interesting single player, or let's say single player, like career mode races or multiplayer races and so on. I like dynamic weather. There's always an element of randomness. There's always, oh, that was I completely and utterly smacked the front splitter on the floor there. I think going through that. Christ, once it started bobbling, it was all gone. Yeah, the randomness factor, shall we say, of weather is always interesting. Is a nice thing to have. I don't know whether we're going to have safety cars or anything like that. Again, this is still, we're in very early stages of the game. I can't say I've seen anything about it, but it doesn't mean it hasn't been said and I've just missed it. Other thing, which, well, we're not looking at it today and I haven't had to go with it yet, but VR support is now here for this game. I would presume Assetto Corsa is very good fun in VR, so I would assume this one is also pretty damn good. It's not so good in terms of recording for me, or I say for me, it's great fun for me as a player. It's one of those that doesn't come across in videos as well. It's often a little shaky and a little bit janky, but as a player it's very, very good fun, and I would expect it to be similar on here. I'm sure I'll have a go with it in the near future. I say this is not about necessarily just about the immersion, it's also about the ease. You know, one of the most important things, being able to look left to see the mirror, for example, in VR is one of, I feel, the big benefits of that sort of stuff that you just can't do here. I mean, you can set up the controller or set up the wheel to have a look left button, but then with the way, certainly when you're driving on a wheel, you've got to reposition your hands to, you know, find the D-pad or whatever you're using. It's just a little awkward. Whereas when you've got the headset, you can just go there and look. I've completely butchered the final corner. It's not big. I've had a few laps in clean air, and I was just not able to get the car to the position that I was wanting it to be. Are we on the? Are we finished, or not actually 100% sure? Did the leader cross the line just as we go on to the final lap? I think we have got one more lap to go, and this lap's all over the place as well. Yeah, I'm not quite been getting the... We can see there's a huge train going on further back. That's what I mean about almost randomness. That's not randomness of AI difficulties, but they just kind of, yeah, get a little bit stuck. I mean, me and the Mercedes are pretty similar in terms of race pace. He's kept up with me. If I could actually drive a good lap, I could probably run with the car ahead of us if I could stop falling off the road. I'm going for a late apex there. Or, yeah, still not great. Because we've kind of had a gap fairly consistent between me and... Or it would be between me and the car ahead if I actually drove the lap, you know, properly. It's just all got a little bit awry. I'm so worried about locking the rears through there, and I'm too early on the brakes down here. It's a little bit of a scruffy end to a, well, fairly scruffy lap. This has got to be the... Oh, no. Remember, you've got to go on the brakes through there. Still don't really know this circuit. I keep thinking that these are much wider corners than they actually are. They're really not. They're very, very nasty turns. That is going to be it for us. We got fourth. We kind of have a little bit of control of the car. After the finish line, it will eventually put us into a game takes over state. I don't know whether, if you're a victor, you can go do some celebratory donuts or something. There we go, now the game takes over. I do still have steering at this point, but I can stop the car, but you can't... I think I'm going to confuse the poor Mercedes. It's going to sort of load us out anyway. There we go. That was a look at Assetto Corsa Competizione. As I said, it's something, if you are thinking this is going to be a game you're interested about, now is a very good time to buy it when it's cheaper and you can kind of get to experience as it goes through development. It's always fun watching like early access racing games go through development, and you know, fairly confident. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a gamble with early access, how it's going to turn out. You can be fairly confident that this is going to turn out to, well, A, it's going to be completed, and B, it's going to be a good game. Let's face it, the original Assetto Corsa went through early access, and that's a damn good game. Now, this is going to be pretty good. My only concerns is that it might, with being just focused on one championship, even when everything is there may still be a lack of content to sort of keep you going, keep perhaps me interested in it. If you love your GT3, if you love this series, that's great. There might possibly be, you know, it might lose out to the likes of Project Cars, to the likes of Automobilista, just because, well, they can do GT cars and then they can go do a trophy truck, or touring cars, or whatever it might be. So, I have to wait and see, though. If this can do enough detail, have enough detail with the one series, you know, that would be great. You know, we've got interesting weather and so on. That could work out very, very well for this. It's fun. It's good enough to drive. I need a lot more practice at it, which I'm sure I will get over time. But, yeah, would I recommend it? Yes, I think I would. I say I think I would. At the moment, yeah, early access, you've not got much to play with. Now, I would recommend now is a good time if you are reckoning you're going to have any sort of interest in this game. Now is a good time to be buying it. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.